Hi, my name is Stuart Andrews, your host for this week's episode of Stag Chats. This week, we're going to continue our focus on talking to members of the Armed Forces community who have businesses that are listed on our business directory over at stagprotect.com. The business directory is a place for businesses run by members of the Armed Forces community so that they can list their products and their services and hopefully reach a wider audience. Before we jump into the interview, please don't forget to like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date with any new content that we release. This week, I'm joined by Rebecca Cartwright from Happy Marketing. So thanks for joining me this morning, Rebecca. Just to get us started, could you give us a bit of a background about yourself, please?
Yeah, hi, Stuart. I am a military spouse, obviously. My husband is in the Gurkhas. We have been lucky enough to have lots of overseas postings over the last kind of 10 years, really. So we have been based in Brunei, Germany, Kenya. Most recently, we just came back from Kenya last year. And then we've mainly been in Kent. We've been in the UK, so that's where the Gurkhas are. I've got 3 children, 3 boys who are 9, and then twins that are 7. Currently, children at home, so that's quite challenging. And I come from a marketing background. So when I finished university, I just by chance really ended up working for a charity and doing marketing stuff for them. And then I progressed into the civil service, doing marketing for the civil service, so kind of public awareness campaigns, which was really interesting, kind of trying to change people's behaviours for their own benefit. We did lots of like public health campaigns, things like giving up smoking, cancer awareness, things around claiming benefits you're entitled to. So that was really interesting. And then when I had my first child nearly 10 years ago, and we also got posted to Germany, that's when I ended up leaving my job. And I guess that was kind of the start of my journey of having to create my own employment and my own line of work. And I did a few things like kind of being a Neil's Yard rep and teaching swimming and kind of using existing skills that I had. And then about 6 years ago, I just by chance stumbled, or in fact, my sister made me aware of a really amazing company called Digital Mums that, as the name suggests, train mums in digital skills to enable them to become social media managers, because
really
they could
interesting.
They had sort of seen early on that there was a gap in the market of social media managers, and this was kind of 7 years ago when social media management was really just starting, actually. People paying people to kind of manage their Facebook and their Instagram. And this company could see that this was something that could totally be done from home, was really flexible. You could kind of do it around your children. And that was like a light bulb moment for me, because I was like, gosh, this is exactly what I've been looking for. I need something that I can do from home that is flexible around my children. And it happened to be a kind of a marketing line of work, which obviously I had some skills in. So I trained in that. I think it was about a 6-month course. It was pretty intense. And at the time I had twins that were 6 months old, and my husband was away for 6 months or so.
Oh my goodness me. So you were having to juggle new babies, husband away, and some new education at the same time. That must have been a challenge.
Yeah. That was hard, but it also was really good knowing that I was training in something that was going to give me a skill that I could then work in. And then I did that for about 4 years. And I was able to do that even when we got posted overseas. I could take that work with me. It was completely portable. And then about 2 years ago, I kind of specialised in Facebook ads, or Facebook and Instagram ads, I should say. So it's more the paid side of social media. So it was kind of like a segue from your general social media management. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Excellent. And how did you find the transition from sort of general social media management into just focusing on the paid ads? Was there a lot of learning around the technology that you were having to then engage with to make that work for customers?
Yeah, yeah. Although it would be considered a branch of social media, and some, as an outsider might say, well, it's kind of all one thing. It's actually a really different skill set. It's much more analytical. It's much more about the numbers, because you're basically taking a budget and you're trying to make more money from it
Of course.
by investing that money, creating the best ads you can, and getting the best return on investment that you can get. Whereas social media is much more, or organic social media as it's called, is much more about kind of raising awareness, I guess.
It's harder metrics to measure, isn't there, when it comes to just organic growth? Whereas if you're, as a business, coming to you to invest in paid advertising, I suppose there's a much more hard and fast metric on the return on investment.
Yeah, it's much more about the numbers and the KPIs and and the figures, really. But I actually quite like that. I actually quite like working with numbers, so that suits me, and I find it really tangible as well. It's kind of, right, you put this much money in and you get this much money out.
Yeah. And did you find it difficult to get clients on board with the paid advertising? Because there's a leap of faith, isn't there, from a customer coming to you and saying, look, I know that I need paid advertising, but I don't know whether it's actually going to work, and I'm not sure whether we'll actually get return on investment. Was that a barrier for you?
Yeah, I mean, that is a constant challenge for me, and I guess for any business really, where you are you're kind of improving someone else's business. And I mean, when I was doing my training in ads, I actually took on a client for free. So I had a client that I worked with so that I could implement my learning as I was going through the course, because that's just the best way that I learn, is by doing, basically.
Yeah.
And I would really recommend that to people, actually. I know it means you're not making the money, but it was a 3-month course, and I thought, well, for that period of time, it means I can actually practice, and I got a test, I could get a testimonial at the end, and I had experience. And sometimes when you're starting out with something, it's just getting that experience. It's being able to say to other clients, yes, I have done this. So I did that. So I had a client along the way, and then I think, she mentioned me to another friend, and I guess more and more people I've sort of developed my own social media channels where I promote myself.
Yeah.
So people kind of hear about me through that. But it is always a challenge as a freelancer, trying to generate my own business and to persuade clients that it's something that's good for their business.
And so in terms of beginning your journey on becoming a business owner, what was the main motivation behind you setting up the companies?
I've always loved working. Some people might find that a bit strange, but it's always been something that's given me a great sense of satisfaction and self-confidence. And I also get a real buzz from earning money. I'll be honest. And I really missed working when I had my first child. And I couldn't wait to get back to work. Actually, as much as I loved spending time with him, I still needed an element of work in my life. So I think my motivation is really it makes me feel good about myself, to be working, really. And actually, in this line of work, I really love the fact that I'm helping other small businesses grow as well.
Yeah, that must be really rewarding when you actually do implement a successful campaign and that ROI is very easily demonstrated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that again, that's something I really like about ads, is it's you can't really argue with the numbers. You spend this much, and I'll be able to say, well, for every pound you've spent, you've made £5 back, or whatever it is. So it's definitely one of the things I really like in my job, and being able to report that back to clients.
And you've obviously been on the journey for a little while now. reflecting back over that time, what's your proudest moment been?
I think I sort of generally just feel proud that I've managed to not to work at all in some ways. It is really hard as a military spouse. I mean, we have moved probably on average every 18 months. I know some people have, moved even more than that, and we've moved across the world. I've had 3 children. And so actually being able to have any kind of consistent work, I kind of feel is an achievement, really. So, and to have now built up a business that is really thriving, and actually is a really good place to be in at the moment as well. Actually for me, coronavirus has increased my business because everyone is turning to sell things online. So yeah, so I just feel proud that I am able to work, and have been able to make a go of my business, despite all the kind of ups and downs and the movings and some of the obstacles that military life throws at you, and that children throw at you as well.
And aside from being a mum and obviously having the side effects of being involved in the military, what are the biggest challenges that you faced in the business?
I think, as we said before, you are constantly having to get customers, and as a freelancer, you never quite know, how long you're going to have work for. You don't have that certainty that you have if you're employed by someone. I don't have a pension. I don't have paid holidays. I do miss some of those aspects of paid employment. So yeah, I feel trying to keep that customer pipeline is always a little bit of a worry.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky, but it's always a risk. And also, particularly in my line of work, I'm constantly having to learn, constantly having to keep up with the industry. So I sometimes feel like I spend as much time keeping on top of my industry as I am actually working, because things change so much in technology.
They really do, and it must be really frustrating when Facebook suddenly decide that they're going to change the way that their algorithms work, or however their back end is suddenly, the interface is suddenly changed.
They do it all the time, and it's really frustrating. I mean, I'm kind of used to them making all the changes, but it does make it hard work.
And do you find that Facebook is a really good platform for new lead generation?
Yeah, I mean, Facebook and Instagram, I sort of would use the two together. Facebook own Instagram.
Yeah.
So actually, when I build ads for clients, I always put them out on both platforms anyway, initially. And I always say, well, let's see which works best for you. And quite often people are surprised, actually, because they think all their audience are on Instagram, or they think we're on Facebook. And you don't really know until you test. And I also actually just now starting to work in Pinterest as well. So I'm currently training so that I can run Pinterest ads as well. So that's another platform that can work really well, particularly for quite visual clients, interior designers, people that make things that look nice. So actually, a lot of military spouses are very creative and have creative businesses where they're selling really nice things that they've made. And yeah, Pinterest could be a really good place for them to be.
And if you were able to give somebody some advice who was perhaps starting their company from scratch, what would your top tips be?
Just go for it.
Right. It seems to be a common theme. Everyone that we spoke to so far is just get on with it and just do it.
Yeah, I don't think many people regret giving something a go and setting up a business. What they might regret is not giving it a go. I think invest in learning early on if you can. It can feel really difficult if you have to spend a lot of money on training and learning, but it really pays off. And it means that you'll know more from the start, which makes you feel more confident about what you're doing. I also think kind of finding other buddies who maybe are either setting up businesses themselves or have done it themselves can really, really help. I think especially when you're sort of working on your own or you're working from home, you don't have that team thing, and that's something that I'm now lucky enough that I've kind of got a group of online buddies who are all in very similar area to me, so we can kind of spark ideas off each other, we can support each other, we can ask each other questions. So it's a bit like that office chat, but it is all online. And we've all kind of trained together as well. So I think, yeah, having that kind of support network around, whatever support network works for you, and yeah, investing in training, and just to kind of realize that it's very likely you are going to have to make quite a lot of financial and time investment into your business when you're setting it up. But it will pay off, it really will.
And finally, where can people find you, Rebecca?
They can find us. I don't know all my handles off the top of my head, actually. Well, my company is called Happy Marketing. So I guess if you look up Happy Marketing on Facebook and Instagram, you would hopefully find me. And I also have a website. So if you look up Happy Marketing, but I don't know if I can send you my links that can be posted with this video or anything. But yeah, certainly I can give you all my handles for Instagram and Facebook and my website. I'm also on LinkedIn as well. I have lots of client testimonials. I'm really lucky that lots of clients have given me lots of lovely testimonials on LinkedIn.
Excellent. Well, I will certainly put all the links to the various social media platforms for yourself in the description of the video. So if anyone's watching and they want to get in touch with Rebecca, just check the description and everything will be in there. Otherwise, just a huge thank you from myself, Rebecca, for joining me today. It was really lovely to meet you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Pleasure.
Thanks for watching. Join me next week where we'll have another episode of Stag Chats, where I'll be joined by another business owner from a company listed on the Armed Forces Business Directory. Hopefully we'll get some more insights and some more top tips of what it's like to run a business as part of the military community. If you're a business owner and you'd like your business listed on the directory, hop over to stagprotect.com. We'd love to have you.